Hi, everyone. We just jumped off of Clubhouse and we're going to do a quick recap of our conversation from Clubhouse today. And today is the climax of our sessions that we've been having over these past couple of weeks. And it's going to be our, sixth session today. And it was about lead gen, our favorite topic. And obviously, as marketing professionals, it is one of my favorite thing to talk about. And before we dive in, thank you so much, Jacob, for joining me tonight. So I want to quickly touch up on some of the things that we talked about today in Clubhouse. And that was around lead generation, but really what is lead generation? So to keep in mind, I know a lot of people think lead generation means they're going to put someone on contract and they have a client, and it's not what lead generation is. Lead gen is, and leads in general means is that initiation, right? That initiation, that interest, that inquiry into people, that pique interest of your product or service, and that's what you're trying to get people in is, and that's why the way we make these sessions are in a way that you bring in the leads, we nurture them, and then we convert them, and so on. And how you got to lead gen is by getting into that mindset and prepping yourself, getting a plan in place, tapping into your sphere, and then learning how to do the job. And now you start to lead gen. So that's why we arrived at this topic. So what are some things that jumped up at you today, Jacob?
Obviously, it was more of the modern way of doing lead generation. However, some of the things we talked about in the traditional I liked as well is trying to just network. And right now we know it's hard with COVID and everything to network, but you can actually still really do it today. In the real estate business, you got to work with mortgage people, title people. Your clients need movers, you need interior designers. You can network with all of those people. And on top of it, having a great list if somebody's new to the area, having a list like these are great restaurants, and partnering with those restaurants, maybe give them some coupons, like a great welcome packet into their home. Just all these little personal touches you can do, and that helps you network and help their business. They're helping your business as well by referring people, putting your business cards out. So that's something I do here. And then for the modern agent, just getting into all of the social media marketing, that's the stuff that makes me excited. So
yeah,
I'm happy for that.
I like the way we set the room up today too. We talked about some of the traditional tactics, and they all work, right? So some of the traditional tactics, and then a modern approach, some of the modern strategies, and then we talked about how to leverage social media. Social media is obviously, it's a form of lead gen, but you can use it as a form of lead gen. But it really is a driving force of helping your brand strategy at a high level. So that's why we talked about social media and really ended the room with social media. And we when talking about direct mail and flyer and incentive, I really like that as well, because often those tactics, I always like to think of everything as very integrated and multifaceted. So I made a comment about, it's not about just you dropping a flyer and calling it a night, right? It's really about, what can that flyer or piece of material do? And some of the things that I started doing in the winter time, and I'm still doing them, is you'll see a post coming out tomorrow, because my husband did some door knocking and door hangers today, and it's really about that. You can hang the door hanger with COVID, and you can always door knock, and if somebody happens to be there, you can have that conversation. And then you can add in a little QR code and for people to come back to your website. So I think it's about that, tracking the process, but taking it to the next level of bringing people back, and then you could go back and do the same thing again in that area. And what I loved about these drop-off pieces that we did, these door hangers, that they had incentive on them. So if you list with us by an X amount of date, you'll get a certain incentive. So I encourage you guys to just take a tactic and really think about it in ways of really blowing it up and layering it up to help you do business, rather than just doing one social media post here, one YouTube video here, one flyer drop here.
Yeah, and it also still gives that physical touch. We're in such a digital society, we've said that before, but it helps, like you said, with if there's an incentive, they're still holding a piece of paper. It's not a digital text. So I like incorporating some of these traditional things. We talked about handwritten notes, sending those to a neighborhood. Hey, do you know you've ever considered selling? What's your home worth? Those type of things, I think adding those into the modern way of doing things, I think that's what's going to make a real estate agent unstoppable, is because you're diversified in your marketing efforts. They tell you to be diversified in your investments. You should always be diversified in your marketing, because if one marketing falls, you still have some other things going on over here. So traditional, I'm such a tech guy and do all the digital marketing that for me it's kind of harder to go back this way, especially a whole year of not interacting with people and we're all working from home. That it's kind of exciting to get back out there. We're making an effort to go out every Friday or film a do a little review of the place, just to put things out there and try to do a little more traditional and networking. And so I kind of like that topic tonight. So.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And we also talked about Facebook ads and, number of different Facebook ads and taking it. I don't want to get too much into the technical side of Facebook ads, but, that's why for those of you, we're going to put a link into the bottom of our description directly to our Facebook group. We have a private Facebook group in the name, New Realtor Marketing and Mindset, same to our session, where we share tons of resources and insights from some of our Clubhouse conversation, really is a recap. So we're going to be sending some templates of some of the copy and formatting that we use for Facebook ads and some tidbits to keep in mind when doing Facebook ads, because there is a particular ways to do it and to do it properly so that you're not, you're doing it by within the process. So I wanted to mention that. And we did touch upon Facebook, Instagram and LinkedIn, and a little bit on Twitter we touched up as well as a form of lead gen. Is there something about our conversation that jumped out at you today?
Just on the social media side, just make sure that you're not just posting one category of things. Try to keep it very mixed. You're posting your personal things as you're out and about, getting a coffee or having dinner or whatever. And then as you're showing your place, take some pictures. Let people into your life, be authentic, make it something that you want people to see about your life and your character and who you are, because that's what people want to work with and they're looking to connect with you. So connect with them. Don't just put all real estate. I personally kept my Instagram the exact same as my personal one. And because I feel like Instagram, you can get away with that. It's more casual, but people like it. I think you get a better response. I still post, the Facebook business page and things like that. I really don't use Twitter that well. I never, in all my years marketing, I never got a great response out of it, especially my clientele. It's just really not for them.
Yeah.
It's still there. Apparently people love it. So, but Instagram is probably where I'm going. And, this last month, I really set to use it the way I tell my clients to do it, because sometimes you lack on your personal things. But, if you really do set time to use it and post it, I mean, I've grown 120 users or follows in the last, 30 days. So it's something, and I think it's just about that, those diverse posts and showing people your life. But now also I'm a real estate agent, right? So this is what I'm doing, and building the house was great because then I was able to show some things about us building our house. And so people have really been commenting, oh my gosh, I love that. Oh, we're looking for a house. So, it just opens the conversation. So social media is a must, and there's not one specific way to do it. Just consistently do something on a platform.
Yeah, and I like some of your comments you made in our Clubhouse about just make it easier for yourself and get on, start scheduling them in and start batching them, like using a Hootsuite or some sort of a scheduling platform. And I wanted to touch upon lastly is, door knocking, cold calling, and there's a particular process to way to do it. And some of the ways that I like doing it is, first of all, learn, in your area, in your market, find out that if there's any bylaws or something that you need to keep in mind. And I know the do not call list is a big issue in Canada, so we had to keep that in mind. So when you get a list of, through our brokerage, we have access to telelisting. So making sure you get a list of phone numbers and then make sure that the do not call list is available through that, so that you're able to identify who you can call. And then make sure you have a script or some sort of a speaking point. And then taking it to another level. If you wanted to really streamline and scale your business, get a dialer, and then integrate it back into your CRM, really. And we'll talk a little bit about that a little bit more into our Facebook group as well throughout the week. I'll post some tidbits, like Tim Hortons tidbits, tidbits, as you're going through, you lost me at tidbits, as you're really talking about that strategy of cold calling. But cold calling, there's a lots of different strategy, but I think the number one is the mindset, right? It starts with the mindset, and that's what keeps a lot of us from just moving towards that tactic. But to really wrap this whole session up is, I love there's there's tons of different ideas we talked about. There's lots of different tools that we can do, all the way from starting from traditional to modern way of using, and integrating social media into all of these ways of lead gen. One of the last things that I wanted to leave you guys with is, align yourself with the right people. Find a good support system for you, people who are going to push and motivate you to do lots of different things, and they have the right tools. And to me, I believe the knowledge is power, so that's why I'm constantly learning, and I encourage you to do the same, and find people who, while you're learning some different tools, find out other people who are learning other tools and just learn together. And that's what our group does really well with our brokerage, and that's why you and I, Jacob, we do really well, is because we have access to all those resources. So any last words?
Yeah, just get out and be consistent. Don't try to learn everything at once. Just try to what you're learning, put it into practice, and then keep adapting, keep figuring out what's not working, what is working. And one thing we didn't cover is just make sure you're tracking what you're doing, whether it's door knocking, you tracked how many doors you went to, how many answers. Same thing with your lead generation and social media. Just make sure you're tracking, you're not wasting time and money on something that's not working. And then, like I said, adapt it and then try something else. So that would be the last thing I would do. And if anybody needs help, just reach out to us.
Perfect. Awesome. And last few words before we close, we wrap this up, is in our description, we're going to have links to our website with a list of the rest of the sessions where I have coming up, some of the meatier sessions with how to keep the business going. And so please follow us on Facebook and request to join into our private Facebook group. And we'll see you next time, Sunday. Thank you so much, Jacob. Have a great night.
You too. Bye.